Welcome to Voices of the Underground, hosted by Young Ty and Robert Geaux.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another brand new episode of Voices of the Underground EDM podcast, where we like to talk to up and coming DJs and producers we feel deserve more exposure. As always, I am your host, Young Ty, and with me is my co-host, Robert Geaux. How's it going, buddy?
Good, man. Cheers. I have a new energy drink today, a recommendation by a buddy of mine, Celsius. I'll let you know in an hour's time how it's going for me. But other than that, man, and we're getting rain. It's been raining for 3 days straight
Yeah,
here in
same
Southern
here.
California. So I am enjoying this rain, enjoying on being on this podcast today.
And I'm super excited for the guest that we have because he's an up and coming DJ and producer that you guys need to be on the look for. XantZ, how's it going, buddy?
Yo, I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, we're excited to have you, bro. I'm glad to see that you're alive, man. Last time I talked to you, it was a little dicey. Uh, we were on the you were on the streets of Oslo when I got a FaceTime message from you. What were you doing out there?
Dude, I don't know. A bit drunk after like 2 days clubbing, going home, waiting for the train. Yeah,
Oh, that's right, because
rough times.
it was back to back. You went out there because you're from Norway, but then you said, or what part? Wait, let me rephrase. What part of Norway are you from?
I'm from Oslo,
Okay, so you
so southern part of Norway. Yeah.
okay, yeah, because you went clubbing back to back. Did you spin out there? Did you play?
No, not this time.
You just had some friends going, or
Yeah, just chilling with friends.
dude, Ty, let me tell you this fucking story. So this goes about, I don't know how long ago was this? About 2 weeks ago. I get a FaceTime message. I think we all did.
I was in there.
And yeah, you were on the call. And I'm looking, and it's late my time, and I'm looking at this call. I'm like, dude, it's coming from Norway. It's got to be like 4 a.m. And this guy's calling me. He's like, yo, I just went to the best show ever. And he's walking around the street. You're walking around the Capitol, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So this guy's FaceTiming me at 4 a.m, and he ends up in front of the castle, right? That's what it was.
yeah, the castle.
So this guy, he turns the camera on, and there's a sniper on the roof, right, protecting the castle. And I'm thinking, dude, I'm about to witness a fucking murder if this guy takes a step further. And now I'm genuinely worried. And then he's out here having a good time. And he's like, Rob, check this out. Turns the camera around, walks up to the guard station, right? No joke. Like, this literally all happened. Gives the phone to the security guard. And he says, hey, this is my buddy Rob from the United States. He makes music, he makes beats. So this guy goes full Jack Harlow, fucking full Jack Harlow on my phone, fucking spitting bars to me. And then you got XantZ out there beatboxing. All of this is happening while I'm cooking dinner, by the way. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck's going on? That was one of the most epic FaceTime calls I have ever gotten. And you'd missed your train, right? That's why you were walking around the streets.
Yeah, because the train is leaving like 1 a.m., right? And the next train starts going like 6 a.m. or something. So, yeah, I just went for some night food, chilling by the castle with the guards, waiting for the train.
Yeah. 4
Nothing
a
much to do.
yeah, 4 a.m. and this guy's having the time of his life. No, there's guns everywhere. Like, no fucking joke. There's guns everywhere. I'm nervous, and he's beatboxing with the security guard.
That is hysterical.
That was my epic story with Andres. I knew this guy was the real deal. But XantZ, we were talking about this before. Live shows, right? Live shows will do that for you. Get you hyped up. You had a good time out. It's nice to see that things are starting to open up for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, not everything is opened up right now in Norway, but it's been closed for like over a year and it's super dead. So thankfully it's opening up again.
Yeah, oh, totally. And then, but like, I just feel like there's no replacement for that, right? Because we've seen a lot of live streams. We had a lot of conversations about what works live on this show and what doesn't. But yeah, the live stream, he just doesn't encapsulate like all the energy a live set can actually bring. What type of music were they playing there?
Dude, they were playing like starting normal club music, like future rave, slap house, this kind of stuff, just gets you moving. But actually they ended with hardstyle and stuff as well, like just typical Norway, like normal stuff. So
That's not normal for us here in the United States.
Not
We're
at
getting
all.
hip. No, we're getting 2001 Lil Jon out here still.
Yeah,
So
every single
yeah,
time.
dude. When you said like typical club stuff, Slap House on Future Rave, I'm like, what club is that? But
Yeah.
no, dude, you guys got it going on.
Dude, I didn't know like actually the clubs in Norway. You know, I wasn't too much there because I turned 18 when COVID came out. So everything was basically closed, and before I was 18, I couldn't really go to the clubs. So I really didn't like know about any clubs that plays EDM. But when I went there, you know, like I got surprised because they actually play like normal EDM. I mean, it's not normal every club to play normal EDM and stuff, but they actually did, and that's like a really cool thing.
Right. And then yeah, so do you guys have a lot of shows out there? Is that like festivals and things like? Does that come through your town quite a bit? Well, prior to COVID.
Yeah, well, I live like 30 minutes away from Oslo,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't have much festivals in Norway. We have like two, which is like semi big, where we get like rappers like ASAP Rocky and those kind of guys, and a couple of DJs, like sometimes Martin Garrix and some others. But festival life in Norway has always been kind of dead. But for clubs, it seems like it's actually like it's a few big clubs in Oslo.
Yeah, I think we talked to another Norwegian guy and he told us there's a few good clubs in Norway. So
Yeah, and then you guys have a hardstyle because we were talking before we went on air about a hardstyle like festival that's coming through, right?
Yeah, it's in April. I just actually heard about it this year. A friend of mine asked me to go, and I was like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it. It's like a huge lineup. It's never been this big lineup in Norway before, and it's probably a bit because of COVID as well, right? Because now it's like a reopening after COVID.
Yeah. Who's on the lineup? Who's playing?
Dude, it's like big names: Headhunters, Atmospheres, Soundrush, Dat Weekas, people like those.
Hmm. Yeah, no, totally. So, I mean, do you vibe with hardstyle? Is that something that like because you make that too, right? You produce that as well, right?
Yeah, I really like to experiment with hardstyle. I actually have one released hardstyle track, and I have a few more that I'm working on hardstyle actually. So you can see some hardstyle from me coming, and I really like that genre.
Okay. What do you like typically producing the most though? Like if you do you have like a wheelhouse that you say, "Hey, look, you get really excited to get started on?"
Ah, dude, it's been like for last year, it's been progressive house, but I'm also mixing in a bit of big room. Like I really love big room and progressive house. That's like my two main genres, and yeah, it just depends on the mood basically. Because progressive house, I really can actually like tell a story, you know, like in big room it's a bit different. It's kind of hard to fill in your emotions and make a story in a big room track compared to progressive house, so that's the main thing.
well, I could cross that question off the list because you already answered it now.
Well, wait, you talk about telling a story though. Hold on, because Ty, we've talked about it before with like sets, right? Telling a story through different DJ sets. So walk us through that, Xantz, about storytelling through progressive house.
Ah, dude, it's all about the instrumental, like how you make the instrumental, like with your emotions, like you're actually trying to tell a story behind the song, right? So, and I mean, it's not really something I can tell about it because it just happens naturally, you know. Like I go into FL, I can feel the track, like the vibe, and I'm just producing around it, you know.
Right. So, where do you find inspiration for that? Because full disclosure for people watching, I've heard some of the IDs that you've pumped out recently, and they're really fucking amazing, and they tell a story, and you find inspiration through different ways. What do you like? What's driven you the most to go this direction to tell these types of stories through progressive?
Ah, dude, that's a hard question. That's a hard question. I don't know actually. Like, I get inspiration by listening to other like good songs, like old progressive house tracks, and like just in general what's coming up, like Rios, those kind of guys. Like, I'm really inspired by them.
Do you have like an event, like because I know like some people have like a life event where they write songs, and because you're like you said your background is in composition. Is that something that's happened to you that you want to talk about?
Yeah, like when I was in Hungary this summer on vacation, I also met some friends down there. Like something happened, and and yeah, I got inspired to make two tracks around it, which I actually started down there. Like I brought my Mac, and on the trip, I started two ideas, which actually is coming out pretty soon. And yeah, I gained a bunch of inspiration from down there from something that happened. So
Okay, so you're so you this basically this happens to you. So and then you write this track that you said it's coming out. What can you share details wise when it's coming out? Is that something that's been signed already? It's release date is set, or what's kind of some of the vague details behind it?
yeah, one of them is actually signed on a big milestone for me. And it's coming in. I don't know when this video will be out, but in 1 month from now, basically.
Oh,
And the other track is on its way to getting signed. So yeah, it's hopefully this year.
yeah. So definitely a productive trip down there. But yeah. So and are those tracks progressive as well, or are they other genres?
Yeah, they're both progressive house.
We want to get into your backstory of how it all began for you, like the come up, how you became XantZ. So, what were you doing before your music career, and where do you see yourself going?
Before music, I was actually so since I was a kid, I was always into sports. So I was playing on a football team since I was 6 years old. So it's been like football my entire life until I became 14 or 15. And I actually had some health issues at that point. But also, when I got to 12 years old or something, I also started playing table tennis, like actively in a club as well on the side of this. So I was like kind of into both sports. And when football didn't work out that much for me, because of my health, I actually recovered and I went all in on table tennis. And yeah, like apart from this, I also have been into gaming, like in the outside of sports. That's where I got my name actually when I was like 14 or 15. That's where I like the name came up. It was totally random. It was yeah, just keyboard smashing. It's like no story behind my name. It's
Hey, sometimes that happens, man. What games you been playing?
dude, mostly Counter Strike and
Oh, dude, that's
yeah,
OG. Would CS:GO or CSS?
yeah, CS:GO.
Full disclosure, I don't know what the fuck we're talking about here.
He's still got a PS3, man.
Okay, fun fact about Robert Go, I still have a PS3 over here and it's still in working order. I'm going to upgrade. I've made this commitment. I'm going to upgrade. I'll get a PS5 that way because I hear you and Chaotix always talking about
Yeah,
games.
finally.
Yeah, it's going to happen. I'm going to move it in the 21st century. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. But sorry. So that's so you said that you got your game or your name through just kind of random letters and just kind of what sounded good for you?
Yeah, exactly. Like there's no story behind it. At this point, like when you play in like these teams, in like esport teams and stuff, it's like you kind of just I don't know. You need like a cool name, so that's where it came up.
So you were in esports teams and all that for these games. Like, did it get serious? Did you get into championships and all that?
And, I played like some tournaments in my country, and it was actually at some point pretty serious. Like I tried to go far with it, because esport has been growing like really much over the
Oh, for
years,
sure,
and
man. Like Rocket League and all that stuff has been blowing up.
yeah, it's a lot of money invested into it, and actually like becoming a job for a lot of people. So, but yeah, it didn't end up happening something with it for me. So I went into full time music after that time.
Yeah, because I think I heard you first from your song with Ozgun.
Yeah, Rhapsody. Yeah, it was like from 2020, I believe it was released.
Wait, 2020. That's your first like label release track?
Yeah, it's the first release track, and it was on self release on Oskan's label. Cause yeah, we released through his distribution.
So basic math tells me that was about 2 years ago, and now we're sitting here and I know you have a major milestone coming up. That's like light speed fast. Like how did you pick up production so quickly where people struggle for years and years and years and years? what was it like? How'd you like? Did you go to school for this? Are you a music theorist? Like how'd you fly through the system?
Okay, I can explain shortly. So I think a lot of this helps from my childhood, where I was playing guitars in a band. It was like not a serious band, but it was like it was in school. So we were like this band of like 5 people, and my friend's dad, he was like an established artist, so they had like a house full of, like, the whole first floor was filled with instruments and everything, and he had all the knowledge, everything. So we went there like every day after school. We went there and played and practiced and stuff. So yeah, I've been taking like lessons on guitars and played in that band and stuff. And I guess that's where like the melodic and rhythmical aspect came for the music. But in 20 like late 2018, I believe it was, that's when I got into music, like learning music. I went full in, and that's where I started. Like from the get-go, I actually started taking like fiver lessons and like one-on-one lessons with actually already established artists. So I would like get like, it would take less time to get into than doing it on my own.
Right, through like YouTube tutorials and kind of searching around for things. No, that's smart. You approached it like an education. Like who'd you train with? Like who'd you kind of mentor with?
Oh, it would be like different guys like already producing in the scene, or it would be like from Fiverr.
Fiverr, our favorite place.
Oh fuck, dude. So there's this one. Ty's got. Listen, if you ever need any art or anything, Ty's got a guy. Ty's
Oh
got
yeah,
a
yeah.
guy.
I got a guy. Okay.
So okay, so let me ask you this then. So what DAW did you start in? Like what like are you still in the same DAW that you started in, or did you graduate from it, or where are you at?
Yeah, I actually started with FL, and that's where I still am. So yeah, no Ableton for you guys.
Thank you, XantZ. I appreciate you so much.
Oh, shit on Rob today. It's Ty's day to shine. No, I mean, no, we talk about it though. Like you said, if it's working for you, yeah, absolutely, don't change it. And obviously, it's working really well for you. What was like the big milestone for you? I think mentally, I like to ask guys, like, at what point did you think, hey, I can compete here. I can do this. I can be successful at this. Did you have a track that you made that said, man, this is it? Like this, I've kind of arrived.
Good question. I think because after Rhapsody and those tracks, like I just kept grinding all the days, like I could put in like 10 or 12 hours every day, like easily, like did nothing else. And I think actually, like after getting live supports and actually like signing bigger and bigger labels, like going up in labels, signing them, and after this kind of stuff, you get like more and more confidence, right? Like you start believing in yourself more and more. And on the side is like something that I really, really like enjoy doing. Like this is it's my life. Music is my life, and it's gonna be my life no matter what. So I'm gonna keep like grinding the same no matter
That's a
what.
good mindset to have, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you have a point though, Zance, where you kind of question yourself if this is what you should be doing, or once you started, you felt like this is exactly where you need to be?
Oh, dude, you always have those points, right, in your career. Like when you're making music, you always have those points where like keep getting rejected by the same label you're trying to hit, or like there's always these points where you have those down periods where you think like, oh, dude, I really suck at this, don't I? You know. But that's like those periods where you actually learn the most, and you got to look back at what you've done and just learn from it.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
progression and all that. You got to see your work from back in the day into where you're at now.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have your first project saved? Like, do you keep those early stuff lying around?
Oh yeah, dude, I have those, and you don't want to hear them. Okay, it's some tropical house from the times I thought I would be like the next Kygo or something.
Hey, pull it up. I want to hear this.
Uh,
The world missed out on the Norwegian Kygo. Oh man, I would have. We're gonna have to hear that off camera or maybe in VOTU in the Discord because we might have a daytime where we like just share everybody's like first
Oh,
projects. Because
yeah,
I
that would be
found
awesome.
mine. Oh, I found mine. It was an absolute train wreck. It was. It was. I was embarrassed by myself. I heard it by myself and I was embarrassed. I'm like, man, I had an
Yeah.
out of body experience. It was god awful.
So yeah, you were telling us about a lot of your old releases and all that as well. But we had a guest on last episode, Neil from HDR, the owner. How did you get involved with him? And once things started picking up for you, become an A&R at his record label?
Oh, dude, it started all by me actually getting to know Kevro, which actually led me to HDR because Kevro had already released, he signed his tracks there, like before me. And I was really close with Kevro, like we talked a lot, and he recommended me to pitch demos to House District Records. So in that way, I got to know Neil and HDR, and yeah, it's the best thing that ever happened.
Yeah, because he talked very highly of you and Kiro on the episode and all that. So let's dive deeper into that. Like, what kind of feedback did they give you when you first sent your first demo to them?
Well, it was just really positive feedback. We wanted to help each other, and it like we started like getting a good connection. Like we both could help each other. So that way, we got to know each other really nice.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. That's what I've experienced. Like I said, they give really strong feedback from a producer's standpoint, and obviously the team that they've built. Now, after you signed there, let's talk about a little more about like the A&R side of it. When did you actually start becoming an A&R for HDR?
I became an A&R like last year, I think, like in summer. If I'm not mistaken, it's been like half a year or something, maybe a bit more.
And how many Saber 789 FLPs do you see on a daily basis? I'm kidding.
No, but
I'm
it's true
kidding.
though. It's true.
Oh, but you see all kinds of stuff come through your desk through as an A&R, right?
Yeah, it's coming a lot of those FLPs, right? Like from Sabers, everyone is influenced by them, and yeah, a lot of new guys doing those FLPs, but it happens.
It's good to be influenced. It's not good to copy it.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's a totally different thing,
But
though.
I don't think,
Like copying straight out, it's just bad.
yeah, I don't think people quite realize how challenging a very good A&R is. Like, that's not an easy task. It's not like you just hear a tune and say, good or bad. Like, there's a lot of nuances within the track that you have to kind of dive and have a really strong ear for.
Yeah, it's not always about just like the how do I say this? It's a lot about like how the track is produced as well, like quality wise, but like also like how is the track like all in all. Like you can have a good track, like good quality, but it's still not like a really good full track.
Right. Yeah, and then whether it fits the label, like I feel like it's a harder job when people ask for feedback, like to give them proper feedback. Because I know I've asked you before, and you've been able to detail, like, hey, there's something missing here at this hertz range. I mean, it was very, very, very detailed. So it's like you've trained your ear to kind of get to that level.
Yeah, I mean the more you experience it, the more like experience you get, right? Like you can give feedback from that, like in either production wise or like mixing wise. It's like it's also a bit about preference, right? Because some people likes different stuff in production, like arrangement and those kind of things.
Is that hard for you though, as an A&R, to turn down some of your friends and things like that? Do you find that that's kind of a tough part of the business?
Yeah, dude, you don't like you if you have someone you're really close to, right? You don't want to really like turn on the tracks, but in the end, you gotta be like really, really like honest about it. Like if it's good or if it needs more work, are you like, is this signable or not? Like you gotta think for the label as well. Like,
Right. The
yeah.
big picture of it. No, totally. So I'm assuming that's by being an A&R, it's really up to your game as a producer, right? That kind of feeds, like, hearing these different types of tracks have, like I said, trained you inside the studio as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's always like good to get new inspiration to hear new songs and stuff. Like it always helps on that part as well.
Well, talking about releases and all that too, we have a question. It goes, "What's your favorite release that you've came out with?" And then there's a couple of parts to this question as well.
Oh, my favorite release, dude, it must be like right now that's out. I think it should be Victorious. That really means a lot
Okay.
to me. But yeah, I have some other that's coming soon that's gonna be meaning more to me. But as of now, that's out. It's definitely Victorious.
The second part of this question is which track did you have the best time producing and which one was the most painful?
Ooh, that's funny. Dude, I think it must be the best time I had producing. It must be Victorious. That's out right now. I had a really fun time producing that one. It took me months, to finish that track. I was like not having the most inspiration in the start. Like I had an idea, and I tried out like 10 different melodies for the same track, and I went back to the original one, and I finally just got massive inspiration to finish the track. So I think that will be it. And for the worst one, I don't know, because like really every track of me has a special meaning. So I wouldn't say one of them was painful to work on.
Yeah, it's fair enough and all that. So yeah, be sure to go stream Victorious right now on Spotify.
Oh, dude, yeah, it's a fucking banging tune. And then you've had collabs with like Caro, you've talked about that, and you've had other collabs. Do you have, speaking of like favorite tracks, do you have a collab that like really vibed with you that it just you guys were just hitting it off?
Yeah, dude, like I really like love working with Cavro and Oscar. They're both like really, really easy to work with, and they're really good people as well.
Let me ask you this: Dream collab. I'll give you three guys. We'll have some fun with this. I'll give you three guys. Who's Xant's collabing with in his three-guy dream collab here?
Okay, one of them would definitely be Rios. That's one of that. That's my number one dream collab for sure.
That's a good one.
And shit, I was not prepared for this.
It's fine, man.
Let's see.
Have you sent anything to Rios? Have you like said, hey man,
He was so close to accepting my collab, and I got so sad when he rejected it. He was so close to get my dream collab. And I would also like to collab with Steve W.
legend Steve, we know him.
Yeah, he's my hero.
Dude, he's got such a sound. He's got such a rich sound. It's yeah, and you know what? He's a cool dude. So yeah, vibing with him would be awesome in the studio.
Yeah. And I would also like to collab with Gaspar.
Oh, I've heard of him.
So I'll say those three.
Yeah, I know that guy.
Yeah, no, I know. Yes, and you know what's cool though? You have tunes. You have enough versatility where you could then collab with all these guys, right? Because like people say, well, I want to collab with Martin Garrix, but if you're not making those types of tunes, it's probably not going to collab with you. I've seen your discography, and yeah, I could see you vibing with all of these guys on the collab for sure.
Yeah, it's like kind of similar styles. Like we produce like I feel like all those three guys could be actually like a potential like collab with style. It would fit really nice, and I think it could work out.
Yeah, totally. I think just on a side note here, kind of random, but I'm about a half a can into this drink, and it's fucking pure caffeine, let me tell you. So if anyone's thinking about getting this, dude, my face is turning red like it's a rush. So just FYI, Celsius, definitely no joke. Okay. As sorry, I felt like I had to report that because it's a new drink for me today, and it's hitting me pretty hard.
I
Right now.
think our fans are going to be disappointed you didn't drink Monster today. So I'm sorry, everybody.
I think I'm also disappointed because I am absolutely hurting. It feels like this light's 450 degrees right now. It's a lot of caffeine, and I'm halfway through it. But okay, so getting back to his ants here. So okay, do you have any? Just kind of put a bow on the collabs. Do you have any of these big projects that you're working on? Is it a collab or is it a solo release? The next one for you?
Yeah, my next one is actually a big collab, which was one of my goals that I've had for 1 year to actually get a collab with. So that's gonna be huge.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. No, that's good. How about the next one?
Yeah, it's a collab. It's a collab. I have actually a few collabs lined up next, and I'm working on a few singles right now. That's gonna be pretty big as well. But the most upcoming like good tracks right now, it's collabs.
Because we talk to people all the time and all that, and they say, you need to have the right balance between collabs and singles. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, well, that's definitely important, because people needs to know your sound. Me personally, I have like a bit less singles than I probably should have, but it's mostly like because I love working with people. Like I feel more secure that way. Not secure, but like I really enjoy working between people that I like. So I'd rather like produce a full track and like work um with some guys that I know and just collab on it.
Well, what's your favorite part of doing a collab? Is it the build up, the drop, the breakdown?
Oh, dude, I love doing actually like depends for progressive house. I love doing the drop, but I also like doing the break. And the worst part I hate is it's the build-ups. I hate doing build-ups.
Yeah. Well, and I've heard these tracks and vocals. So for me, and for guys who aren't familiar with your work, you process vocals quite beautifully, right? And you can you talk to us about how important it is to have good quality vocals within your track?
Yeah, well, vocals is really important, especially progressive house. Like big room, you can get away with less like good quality vocals. But for progressive house, it's really important because that's what's going to carry your whole song. And it's yeah, that's the most important thing in progressive house. I feel like good vocals because it's going to tell your story.
And you get custom vocals. You actually hire vocalists for your tracks, right? Or
Yeah,
you
it's
have
not
recently.
splice.
Yeah, I really like working with singers mostly.
Yeah, I see. I agree with you, Ty, about being spliced, right? Because we've seen a lot of overused vocals.
Yeah, it kind of gets oversaturated when someone keeps using the same splice vocals. Like, okay, we get it. Like, be more creative, be more original, right?
Yeah, and they said not just using the vocals, but the way you process them, I think is what really brings these tracks that I've heard to life. Like the way that you are able to use delay and they make them very very unique. I think that's what separates you from a lot of the underground artists. Quite frankly, is just your attention to detail on that.
Yeah, well, it's really important to have a good processing on the vocals for sure because that's what you want to make it stand out. Like important with a good reverb and yeah, just a good processing in general. Like anything else, you want your track to be as professional and good mixed as possible.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, what do you have coming up? I know we've kind of vaguely discussed some of your tracks, but I mean, do you DJ? Do you play live as well, or what's happening for you on that end?
Yeah, I'm really like into DJing as well. So I actually have like a few shows booked for this summer. So I'm definitely gonna start playing more live, like especially now that Corona has opened up as well. It's gonna be more live appearance from me, and I'm gonna focus a lot on that. But on the side, I'm still gonna produce, as much as I've been doing, and it's still gonna be my main thing. But I actually want to also go out there and perform live because that's like the main fun, I guess. Like you want to perform your work.
Yeah, and I see the sick setup you got behind you.
Yeah,
Yeah, thanks.
dude, show us what is behind you. Hold on, let me check it out.
What it is? It's the Pioneer XDJ RX, and I'm actually planning to buy CDJs now.
Oh
But
man,
yeah, those guys buy me. They work. They work.
yeah, Spotify streams must be paying out pretty good out
Yeah.
there, huh? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
We know from our previous guests, it ain't paying the bills.
Yeah, and also CDJs are the club and festival standard too, so it'd be good to, practice on those as much as you can.
Yeah, exactly. And the CDJs are the ones you're gonna be playing in the club and festivals. So that's good to be used to
Where
them.
did you learn how to spin though? Did you kind of get a mentor for that? Is this something you got a feel for?
Well, actually, I've been getting into it. Like I've gotten help online, like lessons as well with people I know that actually knows how to DJ, and it's been basically just like in the evening, I can go there like 2 hours, just like jam music that I like and practice transitioning and those kind of things. Like it's just coming naturally.
Right. Right. How often do you practice?
Oh, I practice every day. I literally take myself like 1 or 2 hours just to play because I enjoy it.
See, that's the key. Always being consistent.
Yeah, consistency is key.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the first things, like one of the first podcasts that we did was like, hey, just show up, be consistent, whether it's 30 minutes, 2 hours, whatever the case is. And yeah, dude, that's sick that you're playing live, man. So did you reached out to promoters? Did you send out, like, how did that happen? Because a lot of our viewers, Ty, we've talked to them, like, how do you get booked? How do you get live gigs?
Yeah.
How did you do it out there in Norway, Xantz?
Oh, dude, like it's depends. Sometimes you gotta actually make the connections happen. But other times you get reached out by people as well, like promoters who sees your work, they actually like you and want to work with you. So I would say it's really dependent on you because you can also go out there. It's really important to go to the clubs, like get connections, talk to people, get to know them. Like if it's like club owners or promoters or DJs that's playing, it's really important to build that connection
Wait a
with
minute.
people.
So you're saying you have to go to shows to get connections? I would have not guessed that.
Fuck me.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's exactly what it is. And Neil talked about it in our previous episode, specifically to you and Quero. It's like you got to get out there. I remember he talked about like it's a little scary. It's the first day of school, but at the same time, these clubs, these promoters, they're looking for young, talented individuals. Not even young, just talented individuals that can play to a crowd and bring folks in as well. I get a little disappointed when I see artists who are talented producers, but they don't quite understand the aspect of playing live and how that really fits into my favorite word, the ecosystem of your
Take a shot.
career. Yeah, take a shot for those at home. But yeah, like how that plays in to their career. And it just like I feel like if you don't play live or you're not comfortable with it, you have this ceiling that you're never gonna really be able to break through.
Yeah, and you never know who you're talking to at the club as well.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So now you've played live in front of guests. What was your first experience, Zance? Walk us I want walk us through that when you had to get in front of a crowd.
Dude, it's scary, it's very scary. Like when I was in Hungary, I was playing with a friend there. My own song, like that's where I get the connection with Victorious as well. Standing on stage, in front of so many people. But it's really like a good feeling when they like jump to your songs and stuff.
You're stuck in the studio all the time making these songs. So when you're actually in front of a crowd and playing these songs and seeing people's reactions to it, that should give you motivation.
Yeah, it doesn't. It definitely does. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, exactly. I think that's the biggest rush because, well, I think it's rewarding, right? We get beat up so much in the studio. This frequency, it's not working. You're trying to find the right kick. There's all these memes online about it, right? For a reason, because that is what we do. So to see it all kind of come to fruition, such a rush to see it happen. I know we've talked to DJ Guy, right, and he'll play some of our songs live with some film, and it's amazing to see how what we do in this studio moves people on an in live person experience.
Yeah, it's really important, and it's like a really good feeling.
But yeah, I mean, just and look, you booked a gig right for a major festival.
Yeah, exactly. This summer, I'm super excited for it.
Nice, nice. We're gonna have to fly. Are you allowed to tell us where or not yet? Is that still kind of a Hardwell type secret?
Oh, I'm not supposed to say anything yet, but it's gonna come in on it for sure. Like probably in a couple months.
Okay, so let's get into like tips and tricks section of this podcast. We have a lot of younger producers and DJs that, kind of watch the show and they're in our Discord and all that, trying to learn more about production. Uh, from your point of view, what should these younger DJs and producers be on the lookout to do? Like tips and tricks.
Oh, dude, I mean, the best tip I can give is really just go, like, spend your hours in front of the studio, right? Like, spend your hours in the DAW and produce. Get to like get feedback from others, and also try to learn from others. It's a really good thing. But in the end, it's all about how many hours you put down.
Right. Yeah. How many hours you put down, like you said, and the consistency, like we've already mentioned before.
Yeah, consistency is really important as well.
So if you had to go and give your younger self some advice, like, hey, don't do this or do this, what would you say to a younger Andres?
Uh, what I would say, I mean, I would probably be more, hmm, I guess, more open to people, like getting connections, all those guys. Because in the end, you're all just gonna help each other, right? Like building those connections, like help each other out, and getting like your name out there is really important. So I would just try to be more open to people.
Discord, right? Like that's the lowest hanging fruit that we have to meet a bunch of people is getting into Discord, meeting people, voicemail or voice chats, and yeah, and supporting each other's music. I think that's the fastest way that I've done it is just get to know people, right? I mean, unfortunately, we've kind of been locked up the last couple of years, but one of the best things is even like with you connecting with you in Norway. That's been huge. That's been huge for me. And then, like I said, the relationships you and I have built. Yeah, I'd love to see a lot of the young producers get use that to its full advantage.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then, okay, so speaking of Discord, you've seen a lot, and being an A&R as well, you've seen a lot of young producers and up and coming guys. Who's kind of caught your eye as far as, who do you think is going to kind of ascend to that next level?
Oh well, ascending. This is not like an he's like already out there, but like one of the main ones I got, it's Kevro. Like he's just killing it, honestly. Like I have no words. He's gonna make it for sure. And some other guys, I'm also really confident is gonna make it. It's Oskan. Like I'm sure he's gonna make it as well. He's just absolutely amazing. And also it's a guy that probably he's really like down, like just working hard. He's like a bit undercover, but he's still like a really really good producer, and it's Max Aries. Like you don't hear much about him because he don't put himself in the spotlight, but he got like some huge collabs, like the one with Ollie James, for example. Like he's already like he's out there, but he's just sitting there working super hard, and I know he's also gonna make it. Like those three guys, that's the ones I'm betting on. I'm
Well,
sure.
can you agree that working super hard and being very talented, you also need to have a social media presence to get these record labels' attention?
Oh yeah, I think social media is really important, but yeah, like people needs to find you somewhere, right? That's where you like build your brand through social medias. Like if you have like zero posts, like or one random post, then if people look at your profile, they're not going to be super interested, right? Even if you make super good music, the social media presence is really really important.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, let's take it like from an old school approach, like your resume right here. Like if you were to go in for a job interview, you'd want your resume to be as stacked as possible, to be as complete as possible. And I just
Agreed.
don't understand. And I know social media is a struggle, but at the same time, what kind of resume are you turning into these labels? It's interesting because Neil talked about, they look at that, right? They look at a SoundCloud, what you're doing there. They look at your body of work. Even if you're a young producer, you don't have much. It's just how you're presenting yourself to a fan base, because that's what it is, right? These are fans that are looking to stream your music for the label. And if your resume is incomplete, or if you just don't put the time in the work, they're probably not going to hire you, or in our case, they're not going to sign your track.
Yeah, that's super important. The presence on social medias, it's you just have to do it, Like it's gonna help you for sure. And if you don't, you can actually lose out on a lot of opportunities that you could get if you actually had like built your social media presence already.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And would you say, like, when you're setting a collab to bigger guys, like in your case, Rios, who had taken a look at your projects, that they take that into consideration as well, like what type of person you are?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, like reaching out to bigger guys, like usually they like to open it. Sometimes I mean sometimes they listen, sometimes they don't, right? But it's just being consistent about it, right? Like also that happened when I sent someone bigger. Like I kept sending them for feedback, like that's actually one of the collabs that I got. That's really big, like my first like big collab, I've been knowing them for like a year, sending out messages to them, like asking if they have some feedback, just like trying to support them. They support me back, giving feedback, those kind of things. And like eventually, like I asked them to collab on songs, and they say no, like they still listen, they give feedback on it, and they say like, oh, you're getting closer, gives you motivation to keep working. And like eventually, I landed collab with them, like after they said like, oh, you're getting there, that's like a really good
Yeah,
feeling.
the main focus of this consistency. I don't know how much I can preach that.
Yeah, no, it's key. It's like anything. And I like that you talked about it, Zance, about rejection. So we did a Q&A with Sebastian Mateo on our Discord, and right, Ty, we was fucking blown away. He had shown us like these email lists. He'd been rejected 91 times by Revealed, but he's also had 9 tracks signed there. So that's a lot, right, on both ends. So you keep shooting your shot. That's what you were doing, right? They were saying, "Hey, it's not there yet, but keep sending us," and you kept shooting, and now you got that collab.
Yeah, it's just all about consistency, honestly.
Yeah, that's good, man. And handling rejection, and I know that's hard to do, right? It's not easy for someone to say, "Yeah, it's not quite there yet," or "It's not very good. It's not our style." But I just think, like, yeah, just keep getting rejected because eventually it's going to get to a yes. Might take 91 times, but you're going to get to that yes.
Yeah, and it's really important like how you actually are able to handle rejection, because if you're being good about it, then it's just gonna help you. Like it's gonna give you like the drive to actually become better and actually do better.
But how did you handle that? I mean, like flat out, like what did you do? Because I know, like, confidence wise, as a producer, it kind of we go through a wide range of emotions. How did you handle that specifically to keep pushing through?
Yeah, I mean everyone. It's honestly like it's not a lie. Like you're of course getting sad about getting rejected, right? Like it's the nature. But it's also giving you another like chance to actually do something about it. Like, dude, I want to make this. Like I'm gonna do whatever. Like I'm gonna actually work hard for this. So I'm just getting like more and more motivated to actually land that small milestone for me. Like I'm like looking at it at goals, and I'm going for the next goal and then the next goal and the next goal. No matter how long time it takes, I'm still going for it.
Yeah, and the rejection and all that, and the feedback from the labels and all that gives you a different perspective on your track that you might have not seen from your point of view of how you can improve the track.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So you touched on goals. What are some of your goals? Can you kind of share, like, do you set short term, long term goals? Like, what is your process for that?
Well, I put both short term and also long term, but honestly, I'm main focused on the like what I want to do like in within the next year, I guess. So, I have some label goals and also what I want to do production wise. And for me, um, the next goal that I have is like to actually get like a solid live performance. Like I can get booked for like almost every week or like 2 times a month or something. I want to have it like going, because it's one thing to be booked like 1 or 2 times, but actually like being able to play like multiple times in the month or something, it's gonna be like a goal for sure.
And you said label goals. What are some of your label goals, if you can share that with us?
Yeah, well, label goal is of course gonna be revealed. That's where I want to be. Like
That's a
I
good
want to
one.
sign tracks there. Like I want to be like having multiple releases there. Like I just don't want to hit it once, but I want to actually like stay there in revealed.
That reminds me of a conversation we had that you can get to a big label once, but can you consistently stay on that big label?
Yeah, exactly, and that's like the hard part, right? It's not gonna be easy, but if you work hard for it, it's possible.
Well, and you could tell the guys who are putting in the work because, like you said, yeah, a clock is right. A broken clock is still right twice a day. Well, a producer can hit that one track, but the staying power, I think, speaks volumes to the work that they put in the studio. Or because, like you said, buying your way onto labels is going to get a little expensive if you don't become a good producer, right? And that's just the reality of it. It's an ugly side of the business, and that's controversial at that, but it happens. So I think as a producer in your end of it, you have to work really, really hard on your skills to continue to put out quality content.
Yeah, that's hard but also like the big artists, it's not like they're gonna sign just because they're a big name. They're just gonna be on revealed every track they make. Like every track is gonna be
They get
revealed. Like
rejected
that's
too.
not happening. Yeah, they're getting rejected too, and like not the label. Maybe like some of the tracks is good, but the label don't like the idea behind it or something. That's also like something to take in consideration, because you cannot sign every track you make. That's impossible. But yeah, you just gotta keep working.
I would think, what makes this tough too, using like a sports analogy, like in sports, right? Like whether it's injury or age, like people are always retiring. Here, production wise, you're seeing guys stay in the game for 20 years plus,
Look
right?
at
Every
Tiesto.
point. Yeah, exactly. And it's a good thing, but it also takes up space from up and coming guys. So there's only so much space in the labels. That's why it is hard to kind of break through some of the major labels for those very reasons. Random thought of the day.
That's your
It's
random thought
true.
with Robert Go.
Fuck, it's true though. I was like, man, these guys never retire. David Guess 55 out here making bangers with Morton. He's not going away, but that's a slot, right? And that's why it's so hard to sustain success, because you kind of have to have your unique sound as a young producer, but then also you're kind of competing, right, for some of those tenured producers to get a release date on the label.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Take a shot.
Fuck, that's a good point. I know Neil's probably watching this, and he's like, "Yeah, fucking
No,
right."
no, that is a good point. No, that because if these bigger guys that are 55 years old, like you said, and all that, are still making bangers, or people still listening to it, what's the incentive to quit?
Yeah, exactly. It's great though, because you can do this and you don't have to be necessarily like a physical or like sports where you have to meet a certain mold or criteria. And what I love about production, and it's great because we're talking to somebody from Norway, it's a global game. Everybody can do it, whether you're from South America, you're from California, you're from Europe. I love that about the music business, that if you're talented, it tends to find its way to the top.
Exactly, for sure.
So XantZ, what else you got going on, man? Like, we talked a lot about production. We've talked about, a lot of like DJing stuff. What's going on like in your personal life, man? Do you go to school? Like, what do you do when you're not busting in the studio? Which I know you do a lot of, but what's your like getaway?
Dude, it's honestly spending time with family and friends is honestly what I'm doing outside of my studio. Like when I'm not producing, that's what I do. Going out with friends and family, just spending time with them. That's important for me. And yeah, apart from that, I'm spending so much time like in front of my in the studio, and it's basically my whole life. Like music is my life, so
Well, what does your family think about the career path that you're choosing?
oh, they're supporting me big time. Like they're so supportive, and I'm so thankful for it.
Yeah, and you have family out here in my neck of the woods, right? Southern California.
Yeah, on my father's side, I don't talk to them much, but I have some family over there as well. Yeah.
Okay, dude. When when are you coming to visit? We talked about it before, right? We need to make this happen. A Southern Californian trip.
Yeah, dude, I'm coming. That's for sure, dude. Let's do it like one of the next like years, like this year or next year for sure.
It's got. Do you see how old I'm getting? Years. I don't know how much time I have on the clock here, Andres.
Is that a gray hair you got going on there?
It's too numerous to count, man. And it totally. I'm getting to the point where I'm like gonna just ferment that thing. But no, yeah, I think that would be really cool to get more European imports. Thank goodness things are starting to open up where we can get some travel in. So okay, so when you're not in the studio and when you're not listening to EDM, what do you listen to outside of the genre? Do you have like pop? Do you listen to rap? What do you listen to?
Oh, dude, I when I don't listen to EDM, I like to listen a lot to pop. Honestly, like that's the main genre, like mainstream music, and also some rap, but not all rap.
All right, all right. Who do you like? Who do you like in rap? Who do you fuck with?
Dude, I like Eminem, this kind of rap.
Okay, yeah, well, that's my era. Nice, good call, good taste. That's when rappers had something to say. I always complain about that. That's when rap was in its glory years for sure. And then pop artists, who do you listen to?
Oh, dude, it's everyone. I also like old bangers, like this Usher kind of vibes. This kind of songs I really like. I don't even have any favorites to be honest. Just among what's like mainstream a lot. That's what's going on.
Gotcha. Is there a lot of artists that come from Norway? Do you guys have like your set of like pop stars that have come out of there, or other EDM artists?
Um, I mean, we have like Kaigo, Matoma, s- and like from the underground scene, it's like Six Cap, right? Like from the EDM scene. And I mean, we have like I don't know, Alan Walker. We don't have too many. I feel like
Wait, time
at
out.
least not.
Time out. Alan Walker and Kygo, those are literally the two biggest names in EDM to come
Yeah.
out, and they're coming from your neck of the woods. That's awesome. How inspirational is that?
Yeah, that's cool for sure. They're going like a kind of different route than I am though, so I'm not like listening too much to them. I really like Kygo though. I really like him.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, for sure. It's always time for Kygo, whether it's summer. Dude, I vibe with his stuff, man, for sure. I find that I can listen to just about anything, especially casual listening. I could see why and he's closing out he's on the main stage Friday night at Ultra. So yeah, fucking yeah, Norway representing.
So, is there anything you want to plug before we get off this podcast today?
I honestly just want to say I'm super thankful to be invited to this podcast. It was really fun. And also, apart from that, if you haven't listened to my music, I make progressive house and big room mostly, but you can also expect some other genres in the upcoming year, like Future Rave. I have a couple Future Rave
Oh,
tracks
let's
coming.
go. All right.
Yeah, so it's mostly gonna be Future Rave and progressive house in the future, but I'm also gonna mix in a couple of big room tracks. So yeah, I'm really excited to show everyone what I've been working on last month and some big news coming next month. So
And I'm excited
yeah,
to hear
that's it.
that. And listen, I'm not saying this just because you're here, Xantz, but you're one of the more talented, bright young minds that I've had a fortunate to be able to come across. There's a lot of guys who can do a lot of different things, but not a lot of the guys that I've come across at least are uber talented and hardworking. Right? You're sending me stuff at like 5 a.m. your time, and I'm like, dude, you should get some sleep. But it's inspiring for me, right? Like it's inspiring for me to see that work ethic. And then when you send stuff, it's like, okay, and it's multiple genres, which I love because we listen to multiple genres. I just think it's fascinating to see your progression since I've known you in the last couple of months and how far you've come in that short period of time and actually where you're ascending to.
Well, guys, I think that's it for another episode of Voices of the Underground. I want to give a special thank you to our guest this episode, XantZ. You could go and follow him on Instagram at XantZ Music. And like always, my co-host, Robert Geaux. You could go and follow him at Robert Geaux on Instagram. And you can follow myself at YoungTy on Instagram. We have a Discord channel, guys, that we've mentioned a few times in this podcast that we would love for you guys to join. The link will be in the description. And we'll see you guys next time on another episode of Voices of the Underground. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, take care.
Thank you. Take care.